go first. Follow the mic. Follow the mic. There you
Okay.
go.
Follow the mic.
Hello, I'm Jay Cobb, and I'm the Executive Director for Sanctuary Counseling Group here in Charlotte. I am a marriage and family therapist as well as a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I am a glutton for punishment and an overachiever. Actually, what it does is it costs me lots of money to renew those licenses, which are coming up now. But I am second career, so I originally started out and did 35 years in the insurance industry. And now I work seeing individuals, couples, and families in various and sundry different situations. Mostly my population is the male population. So I see a lot of men from the age 16 to 85. Sanctuary Counseling Group has a very large footprint across the greater Charlotte area. We have offices in High Point and Winston-Salem, all the way down to Monroe. There's currently 10 therapists on staff now, and we're looking to hire 3 to 5 more. So constantly looking at meeting the needs in the communities that we serve.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Lindert. I am your favorite hypnotist. Most likely, I'm the only hypnotist that you know, right? There we go. I am the owner of the Mental Edge, and my husband is here helping me today, Tim. I appreciate his help. And what I do is I help people to quit smoking, lose weight, and to get over fears and phobias. But I was a mortgage banker prior to this, and I became a hypnotist to help my son, our youngest son, overcome OCD. So I'm very aware of mental health issues. And I had panic attacks, and the hypnosis also helped me to stop with the panic attacks so I could drive over bridges. So, yeah, you laugh, but it's true. I relate to that. And so I understand a lot of what the mind does and how it can affect your outcomes. And that's why I became a hypnotist, to help people help themselves. And I'm looking forward to being part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody hypnotized? On the count of 3, is everybody going to start jumping up and down?
No, we don't do that.
My name is Ward Blanchard. It's wonderful to be here with you guys today. I'm also in my second career. Used to work in a family company, a building supply and lumber company, and third generation family owned. But past 15 years, I've also been in the field of human services and marriage and family therapist. And wonderful to see another MFT up here. I thought we were being taken over by social workers. And so MFT, marriage and family therapy, and an MBA in healthcare. And here locally, we have a mission called the Blanchard Institute, which is a dual diagnosis mental health and substance use disorder outpatient continuum that is family focused, to provide treatment and also provide free family resources here in the community, and also do a lot with the substance use disorders in the workplace and mental health in the workplace. And just super excited to be here just to have this conversation with you guys. And the fact that this is a chamber and that has created a space to have this conversation is just so important. Mental health and substance use disorders was the, I would say 7 years ago, at the time, our United States Surgeon General said we were in the worst public health care crisis we had ever been in, and that was 7 years ago. And so really glad that we're having this conversation.
Well, welcome to the panel.
Okay, well,
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deja Maynard. I am the Western North Carolina Regional Psychotherapy Director at My Path Health. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker.
See?
Yes. It's 2 to 1 though, so I'm not overrated today. So with My Path Health, prior to joining My Path Health, my background is in family therapy, focusing much on trauma, and I've just kind of taken those 2 pieces and transitioning to adults working through trauma with My Path Health. I am also excited to be here, really excited that for the participants, if this is something that you all want to engage. And as I understand it, it's essentially a continuation of some other topics and programs that I've started. So that's really exciting. And thank you.
Well, welcome to the panel. So we're going to run this panel just a tad different than last month. Okay? So I'm going to give the panel one question to kind of get us started, but this conversation is for all of you out there. So I know you're all eating fast and furious. So in between bites, we want to hear from you. What are you have all these experts up here, and you can tap into their collective resources. What are you curious about? What do you want us to engage in from a discussion perspective? And we know that this came up at the tail end of last month's session, so we want to really open it up for all of you so you can get the most out of the conversation today. Sound fair? All right, okay. So my question for the panelists, and it's like a two-part question, so I guess I get two questions in one, right? What are you seeing currently or out there that organizations are doing really well to help, to support, and destigmatize this topic? And then what are you seeing as like watch outs of like, yeah, right, that's not gonna, that we really need to stop doing that nowadays?
Yeah.
And I know we were talking a little bit about that earlier, so you want to start us off?
Yes,
Go for it.
absolutely. So some of the things that I see businesses or companies doing really well to support mental health is they are investing in EAP programs, hosting wellness events, really creating the opportunities for their employees to engage, around the topic. I also see a lot of kind of like inter-company kind of community building, so lots of affinity groups, different like identity-based groups, even in terms of like having children, navigating the pandemic with children at home was really difficult for a lot of people, across industries. So I really see a lot of investment and a lot of effort put into that aspect. In terms of not so well, when I was preparing for this talk, I was actually thinking about sort of some of the less obvious answers in terms of like adding additional barriers to taking time off, or adding additional barriers to like for direct reports to have that contact and support of their direct supervisor, because knowing that you have a strong support, directly correlates, I think, with how well you perform your work, how supported you feel, all of those different things that impact you and how you function, taking your stress home with you, all that different stuff. So that would be my contribution.
Thank you.
Great answer. I couldn't agree more in the fact that, without question, one of the progressions that I've seen in conversation, there's just a willingness to have this conversation. Is 7 years ago we knew it was the professionals and people on the inside knew it was an epidemic, and that's why the Surgeon General said it was a problem. And yet we had hesitation in having the conversation. One thing, an opportunity for growth out of this pandemic has been, it normalized the conversation that every human being has struggled with some form of impact to their mental health as a result of this pandemic. We are human creatures that in our DNA need to be safe, secure, and connected. Words like social distancing and quarantine and isolation impacts every human being walking the planet. And so it has really allowed this conversation to happen more frequently. And it's one of the most common requests I get is to come talk to businesses and chambers around the state or country about this with people that never had a substance use disorder or mental health problem prior to the pandemic, want to talk about it now. And so without question, any time that you have awareness and conversation, it is a much needed improvement. And the challenges I've seen to opportunity for growth, as we like to call the things we're doing wrong, is what are you going to do about it? Because actually applying your knowledge and making active changes is a lot different than knowing about it. And how many times have you known something before, and actually application is the key to transformation? And even in your companies, as you have the conversation and communicate to your staff that we're employee-centered, are you backing that up? For instance, at our company, healthcare and frontline healthcare and therapists is exhausting right now. The burnout ratio is off the charts, even more than it normally is. And so in the month of May, our busiest month, staff is so tired as a leadership team, we paused and stopped admissions, closed for an extra mental health day to give everybody 4 days off, told them to slow down, actually gave them a gift certificate one weekend to use $100 for self-care, and they had to come back and tell us, stop admissions, take care of yourself, here's 4 days off. And what do you know? Work got better and quality got better, and it was our best month ever because we told them to slow down, stop, breathe, take care of yourself. And that's a bold move if you have to take care of the bottom line. It's like if you, what are you prepared to do about it? And so that's what your employees care about. You can put the words up on the wall, but application is the key to transformation.
Well, thank you. Kathy, what are
You can hold it. Hi. So one of the things that I've noticed, well, first let me explain one thing about hypnosis. It's not as scary as what everybody thinks, okay? There's no barking like dogs. There's no clucking like chickens. We don't do that. And what hypnosis does is it works with the subconscious part of the brain, which is the part of the brain that says your wish is my command. I always tell everybody it's like your magic genie. So when we talk about hypnosis, or when I talk about NLP, it's working with the subconscious part of the brain in order for it to change so you feel better, not only in your mind, your body, but I also add in your soul, so that it's a whole complete connection. And what I've noticed is that with some of the companies that in Charlotte, in New Jersey, I'm from New Jersey, if you couldn't tell from my accent. In New Jersey, I was hired by a lot of different companies and also hospitals to come in and to work with their staff, to help them to learn how to calm themselves down, how to use certain techniques that are NLP, and to see themselves really increasing not only the happiness level is the best way that I can say, but to decrease that stress level, because a lot of people own other people's stuff. Here in Charlotte, there's a company called IAB that has started to want me to come and speak to different companies and allow me to be part of the presentation to show people how to calm themselves down. So there are a lot of companies, the Red Cross is one that I just got invited to, and there were a couple of other companies that I can't remember off the top of my head. So companies are starting to recognize that we need to work with the mind, because when you work with the mind and you start changing the way that you think and you act and you react, the body will go in with it as well. What I don't see happening is as many companies embracing this, because sometimes it's people working at home, how do we get everybody together, how do we keep them safe? And so what I do is I explain to some of the companies, I say, well, we can always do it virtually, I can record it, they can watch it whenever they want, and so let's, I'm hoping that they're going to start opening up their minds and saying this is a good thing to do, because literally, I can help you within a minute. Relax, get rid of the stress, and then you can get clear thinking. And that's how fast some of the techniques that I work with help people. And once they start using it, and just like you had said, they have to use it in order for it to be a part of you.
Some of the things that I've seen over the last couple of years have really been impressive as companies have stepped up in the mental health field